Act natural. The camera's on. Quick. Hi. Welcome to the Gonzo Radio Sports. We're back. Yeah, and as you can see, man, the beard has gotten out of hand. We had ourselves a nice 3-week hiatus. Hiatus, a fancy French word for we weren't around because we were doing other crap. And I'm just fixing all the little whistles and bells here and getting all the stuff off of there and then getting you up on the Q page and everything. And seated across from me, also growing in his playoff beard.
Coming in big.
For what playoffs? I don't know.
Playoffs.
It's the MAZZ. What's up?
Hi.
Good afternoon or good morning, Matthew. How are you?
We are still mourning. I'm doing great. Glad to be back. It's been 3 weeks. We haven't had a 3-week hiatus since we started.
Man, there's a lot going on. Well, we had a nice hiatus over the summertime because of COVID.
Oh, well, that's true. Yeah,
and because I almost died.
Yeah, that's
and
true. You went and got your heart fixed.
Yeah, well,
priorities.
Excuse me. It was my heart. It was my aorta.
Well, it was in your heart. So
it was next to my heart.
You can't have a heart without an aorta.
The induction pipe.
Yeah.
There you go. The induction pipe.
The induction pipe.
Had a little repair done.
Yes.
It was actually a major overhaul, but glad to be here. Glad to be back. I went to Massachusetts to go see my dear friend Rochelle, who is near and dear. I dare I say I would call her my homegirl. Homegirl, is that what the vernacular is for the kids these days?
I'm not even sure how that works.
Yeah,
but she's not home. But she probably owns a home.
We've been very close friends for a very long time.
Okay.
Through marriages and through engagements and through whatever, and we have always been there. She would say, "You're my ride or die," which, sort of, yeah, I guess. I mean, her daughter considers me to be Uncle Gonzo.
That's nice.
And a father figure. I actually got respect out of a 19-year-old girl for once in my life.
Wow.
Up in Massachusetts. I asked her that the beautiful part is that Rochelle and her daughter, they fight like cats and dogs. They are two sides of the same coin. I had the privilege of knowing Rochelle when she was younger, so the daughter acts like a much younger version of her, of course, and same fire, same salt, same and they just needle each other.
Snarky? Can we use the word snarky?
Oh no, they go past snarky.
Okay,
they go past snarky. But I actually got some respect out of her. At one point they were just bickering so much. I was like, time to use my fancy junior college child psychology class, and I divided and conquered. I asked her, I said, honey, do me a favor. We were at a street fair, at 4th of July street fair. And we were at a food truck, of course. I'm trying to get some authentic New England, some scallops, some fresh scallops.
The scallops are good.
The scallops are awesome. The scallops in the haddock. Forget the lobster. These are scallops and haddock. But I asked her, and I was like, honey, do me a favor. There was a row of bleachers on one side. And I said, honey, do me a favor. Go save us a spot on the bleachers over there. And she looks up from her phone because they had just had an exchange. And she looks up and says, okay. I was like, I win.
Winner.
I win.
Congratulations.
Big Daddy, Uncle Gonzo wins. And eventually peace reigned in the valley. But nice. Love them both to death. Big shout out, especially if Rochelle went to the trouble of actually clicking on www.gonzoradionetwork.com and is actually watching this live stream. Hi, honey. Nice to see you on a beautiful... And yeah, my beard is just out of it. It was cold up there. We had plans to go to Seekonk Expressway in Seekonk, Massachusetts, some authentic northeastern New England swamp Yankee stock car races with some fireworks. I mean, nice. it was all American. It was just, I like offbeat experiences like that. And it rained like crap for like 36 hours, just ruined everything. But I still had a good time. Because cannabis is legal up there.
Yes, it is.
So how can you not have a good time anywhere where cannabis is legal?
Yeah. They're one of the first states, I think, weren't they?
No.
Well, I mean, out west was like
Massachusetts.
There's only what 7 or 8 states now that legalize where you can actually go buy it in the state. Or
More,
really,
much more, much more. Huh. Yeah, definitely more.
Tells you what I know about it.
But you were in, where were you?
I was in 2 places. I was in North Carolina.
Right. You were fancy. You went to 2 different spots.
I was in Colorado where it is legal also. Right. And I was in North Carolina where it's not. But
Colorado was a traveling nightmare, I heard.
Oh, it was awful. Spirit Airlines, go F yourself.
Boo, Spirit.
Yeah, just terrible. Horrible.
This episode of the Gonzo Radio Network, the Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, is not brought to you
by Spirit Airlines.
Yeah,
not at all.
We don't want your money.
Yeah, you're terrible, and we're never flying you again. I was in North Carolina visiting my stepson, Diana's son Mitch, and his wife. And the week prior, we were in Colorado visiting my wife's niece and her living to be something, husband perhaps, I don't know. And then some family out there, we had a great time. We had all kinds of weather. We had rain. We had severe storms. We had, just sun. So it was a filled, packed couple of weeks of travel, seeing family. But it's nice to be back home.
Great to be back in sunny, sunny, muggy,
gross,
104
heat index, South Florida muggy weather at 10 o'clock at night.
Crap,
terrible. Yeah, but this is what we're used to, I guess.
Right. Well, I mean, you went from Colorado. It was nice and cool in Colorado, I'm sure.
It was very mild. The nights were in the 60s during the day. One of the days it got to about like 81, 82, but it's not the same. Even if it had gotten to North Carolina, one of the days was warm. We went to a water park, kind of. They said it was 90. It didn't feel like it.
No, of course, because it doesn't have the oppressive humidity of South Florida.
So, in all actuality, it just felt like, let's say, a September day here, October, which is still not, whatever. It's not like you want to go outside and do yard work, but it's still not that you can't breathe. At least you can go outside and take a breath and not, choke out and die.
People only do yard work in June, July, and August in South Florida because they have to.
Yes, that's exactly right.
It is must do. Yeah. But Massachusetts, when I got there, it was like, for some strange reason, Massachusetts always drops the temp when I get there. Somebody hits the thermostat and lowers the temp when I get there.
Yeah.
Because the week leading up to it is in the mid 70s, high 70s, nice. I get there, 63 during the day, 52 at night.
We were in Nantucket. We had a nor'easter. That was a month ago or 6 weeks ago. We had to go up there for that.
Had a nice trip.
Yeah, that was fun. The weather, we never saw the sun that trip. I think the last day on the plane coming home,
that was just a little bit south of where I was, actually.
And a little, obviously, further east. Their weather on the island out there is a lot different than the mainland. So usually a little more breezy and really never gets very, very hot. It's very temperate. It's very mild. And it gets cold and rainy, too.
Right.
But the hot is not anywhere near anybody's hot. But it can get nasty, and it did. So
with Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard,
Martha.
What's really funny is when the weather cleared, the weather was really bad to the south of us. The clouds were really big, black. They're like, Martha's in Nantucket, they're getting all the bad weather. Ha ha. Yeah. So the mainlanders were laughing at you guys, by the way.
Yeah.
So that's your weather and vacation report. That's where we've been and what we've been doing and what we've been up to because we got lives. We're both a couple of steps closer to ye old real estate licensees.
Hopefully.
Yes, we're about to become associates. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've been hearing that the market is calming a little bit on a national basis. It's calming. There's usually a dip in the summertime in the market, usually about between 1 to 2%. Because of June, July, August, it just dips. I don't know why.
I think people travel more in the summertime.
New to the business.
Well, I mean, summertime is more travel time. I think more or less families are together and there's vacationing and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm sure the priorities are slightly different.
Right. Well, but the astronomical prices are now the people getting priced out of their budget ranges for houses.
Yeah.
So people are just backing off. So. And I think we'll be able to take advantage of that. But that's besides the point. Enough of real estate talk. Let's get down to sports stuff.
We got sports.
There's been a lot going on recently, and a lot happened while we were gone. Like some team from the Tampa area won another championship or something, I hear.
Some hockey sport that we will get to because I got a pretty good argument that I want to cover when we get to Tampa.
You want to save the hockey thing for later?
I think we should put that into
we have MAZZ Hysteria coming up.
Yeah, I think we'll save that for Hysteria. But no, that's going to be
That
an interesting.
happened.
Oh yeah, they sure did, and they look to be a team that's set up for a dynasty, if not already there to some degree, because they are again with hockey. They keep their players, they keep their coaches as long as things are going well, and clearly in Tampa things are going well.
Oh.
And to me, I just seems like that since half the league makes the playoffs, I can clearly see Tampa making another run for a long period of time. I just don't see them not being good. They'll always be viable. And then it comes to home ice, catching a 2 or a 3 seed, and then just using their experience and talent and great goaltending that they got all through this
I
playoff.
thought you were saving this for the end.
I'm just giving a little bit of a little teaser. So anyway, I'm on Team Tampa.
Well, man, are we going to do the Florida Goat organization at the end? Is that what we're going to do?
That's going to be in the history. We'll go over that.
Because
I'm just, you asked me.
I'm ready to fight about that right now.
then
I went in ready to fight.
Then
about
hold on, because we got some stuff coming about that.
Pittsburgh guy trying to tell me who the best sports organization in Florida history is.
We'll get there. We got time.
All right, well, good. I had to steal my rundown sheet back from you.
Right, we got a basketball thing going on.
We got a basketball thing going. I believe it's the NBA Finals. I believe they call it, right?
Yes.
And this is how long we've been gone. When we left, there was still the quarterfinals, the semis. There was still the semis going on.
Yeah, the Bucks were actually down in their series, I think,
right
at the time.
And Brooklyn looked like
Brooklyn,
they were getting it together and coming in. It was like, surprise!
And we've been consistent on Phoenix and Chris Paul the whole way. I'm not changing
huge, and we're not. No,
3 weeks prior to the playoffs, I was like, how come nobody's talking about Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns?
Ride that rocket to hell. We don't go. We are slim pickings on the nuclear warhead.
I got to be honest,
all the way
though.
Down.
2 games ago, when they were fighting back and forth, and Phoenix was down 3 or 2, I think, under a minute, and Chris Paul turned it over. Milwaukee won that game going away by 8 or 9 after the free throws and stuff. Yesterday's game, Phoenix comes out like gangbusters. They build a big lead. Milwaukee claws. They claw their way back, and they steal it, and they win.
Yep.
Now they have a 3-2 lead going home. Didn't see that coming. I didn't know Milwaukee had the fortitude. I know that all of the accolades are going to be in Giannis's direction.
He's been averaging 32 points a freaking game, 32 and 13.
Yeah, and well-deserved. But I think, depending on what happens, let's say Milwaukee goes on to win this series, I think we're going to be able to go back into the series and kind of pick and choose where I don't want to say the blame on Phoenix's side, because I think it's going to be more blame on Phoenix than it's going to be accolades for Milwaukee. Now, they're going to say, oh, Milwaukee hasn't won a championship in so many years.
No.
Well, here's the thing. They had a lead in the series. Phoenix was America's darling team at this point. Everybody was on Team Phoenix. Nobody thought Milwaukee would get there based on just Giannis alone. And everybody knows what's happening. Giannis is dominating it from tip to finish.
Everybody wanted the State Farm guy to win the championship. We all know. I mean, we
were all pushing
see Chris Paul every day on TV.
We anointed Chris Paul as the greatest athlete to never have a championship in basketball. And unfortunately, down 3-2, it may stay that way. So it's not going to improve his argument.
Positivity.
Listen, I'm being a realist. I'm still on Team Phoenix, but they're in trouble. 3-2. They're going to win 2 games now, and they've never lost 3 games in a row in the playoff up until this point.
There you go.
So maybe the script is flipped now. Again, you hear all this player talk, coach speak come out. DeAndre Ayton came out and said, "Well, now we're the underdog. We're gonna embrace this new role."
Fire yourself up somehow.
I guess you got to, but I don't listen to any of that crap. I can just tell you that they need to somehow stop everybody else and let Giannis do his thing, because you can't stop him. Clearly, you haven't stopped him to this point. You're not going to. So let him shoot the ball 50 times. Let him miss half his free throws and dominate the floor on other sides and win by 3. Okay, and just. That way we have a game 7.
Win by 1, win by 10.
That's
win by
my
12,
recipe.
Doesn't matter. Just win.
Let Giannis go for 50 and just shut everybody else down, and then you win the game. But they haven't been able to do any of that, so it's going to be interesting to see. But again, still Team Phoenix, not backing away from what we said. I still think Phoenix wins the championship. So we'll see.
Well, at least this time they get to go ahead and they win it at home. They win it on their home court.
They have to win Game 6 first before they get to Game 7.
Got to win one more.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fun series, fun game. Again, surprised how that went down yesterday. But as we see typically in the NBA, no lead is safe. Doesn't matter when it is, early in the game, late in the game. I mean, if you're up by 20, you better be up by 30, because 20 in the NBA is not enough sometimes.
Yeah, it's serious business.
And clearly that's how it went in yesterday's game. So.
But I think, listen, I think this series is Adam Silver's nightmare. I think it's the commissioner's nightmare, because once again, I'm staying true to my conspiracy theories that you know, every commissioner of every sports league, okay, they don't want small to mid-market teams to win the championship. They just don't. Okay, with the exception of the NFL, which the NFL has this, I don't know, I guess this tradition thing going. And before the NFL became the NFL, small market teams like the Green Bay Packers were legendary. Okay, they were legendary. They were legendary for success. They were legendary for excellence. You know, with Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr and all of that. Okay, but now in this ultra media driven, numbers driven environment, a mid-market team like the Milwaukee Bucks, okay, everyone's like, oh, well, they've got 4 million people watching yeah, that's fine. But that pales in comparison to the 10 or 11 million people watching in Phoenix, or if you had LA or New York involved in the finals, or Chicago involved in the finals. Okay, let me tell you what, Chicago, all of Chicago's appearances and all of Chicago's championships, those built the NBA more than anything else, more than the LA-Boston rivalries, more than the New York Knicks. The Chicago Bulls run at the top with Michael Jordan put the NBA on the map. That's when the revenues really start coming. And why? Because Chicago is what number media market?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to
20 million, 22 million people watching every game.
I want to argue the other side of that with this media market stuff. Since everything to me right now is so global and there's so much access to everything at any point during the day.
Sure.
On any media stream, there are many of them now, tens, dozens, whatever it is, that you can access any game you want.
Sure.
I don't think it necessarily reflects media size or market size in a city to how that would translate into viewership overall. Because here's my argument. Let's take Milwaukee, for instance.
Yep.
Granted, it's a small market. We've said that already. They have
it's a big
so
town. They
many
got a lot of people that live there.
Okay, but generally, when you assess numbers to these markets, they're towards the middle of the pack, okay?
Right.
Now, I don't think that necessarily means that ratings would overall be at the middle of the pack when you look at all the NBA finals over the last, say, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 years, whatever it is.
Right.
I think it's more on the onus of the leagues to promote, to get them out there, to make the stars. Again, this is on the leagues. It's on the NFL. It's on the
and the NBA does a great job of that.
And they do. And I think because everything is so global, like I said, I don't think you can put a crutch on the market and say, well, David Stern, oh wow, old man, whoever,
Adam Silver,
whoever it is. We're going back to, because you mentioned like Chicago, putting them on the map and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think that those guys looked at the markets and said, oh man, it's getting close to the playoffs. Look who's in it. We got 8 market versus 5 market, 10 market. I don't think it's like that, because I think if they do that, they get lazy. And I think it takes away from the abilities of the marketing departments in these leagues to get their product out there, to make sure that everybody is at home 8 o'clock on a Friday night watching their product.
I'm not impugning their efforts. I'm saying that these commissioners, especially Adam Silver, they would be, how can I say, low-key cheering for the major market teams because they want the highest ratings possible, because they want the highest revenue collection as possible.
But I think the Knicks, let's say, and even though they've never, let's use the Lakers. Obviously, Los Angeles is a huge market.
Huge.
But they're not solely dependent on their market to drive their product. They're a global product, and it's partly now because of LeBron James and obviously the history of the Lakers.
And the history of the Lakers.
I get that. But what I'm saying is that it's not so much the market within the team. It's not the LA market that's making LA so popular. It's the rest of the country. It's everybody else that's tuning in to see the Lakers. And I think that's where it has to be with all these sports. Just because you're the number 2 market, it doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily garnish the number 2 ratings. You are dependent upon...
You have the highest audience amount. You have the largest audience potential.
You have the largest foundation, essentially, and then you build upon that foundation. So I'm just saying, I get it. I know LA's popular. I know New York is popular. I know Miami, to some extent, down here demographically is popular. But it's still up to the organizations and the leagues to promote their product, especially playoffs, championships, regardless of whatever market that team
and
represents.
They do a great job.
They do. And actually, viewership has gone up based
Right.
on just the bubble last year, not overall. It's up about 30%.
And who came out of the bubble on top?
Yeah. The Lakers.
Who? Exactly.
Yeah.
An LA team
Yeah.
came out of the bubble on top. All right.
And viewership was down.
I'm just checking our Facebook feed. Hey, we're coming in fantastic.
Nice.
By the way, that is a lovely blue shirt you're wearing.
Thank you. Is it blue?
Is it blue? It's very blue.
Yeah, I don't do blue.
Coming out the HD on the. See, it's really funny because the cameras that show on my production program here, it doesn't show, but you get that HD, that Facebook HD. It's some
that's
brilliant
nice.
blue.
That is nice.
That
That beard looks good.
and you have color.
And I
There's
had-
actual color.
I was in the pool yesterday.
There's actual color in his face.
That's nice.
He's washed out here. He's horrible.
Yeah.
But yeah,
At least I look good on Facebook.
And for those of you who haven't or who are tuning in on Facebook, hi, both of you.
Yeah, hello,
Let me
everybody.
see. Yeah, both of you.
Nice.
So yeah, but once again, I'm not telling you. I'm not saying that there's any manipulation, if you will, but I'm just telling you that they're hoping. Because that's just the largest potential audience. That's all. It's just the largest potential audience.
There's always manipulation. Everybody's trying to gain an edge in every aspect of life.
I
I manipulate my dog. All right.
Right.
I mean, it's that's how we do it now.
It's a family show.
Okay.
Easy.
Anyway,
Listen. Ever since I saw the first rollerball when I was a kid, okay, with James Caan. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ever since I saw the first rollerball as a kid, I was like, they could do that with football. They could do that with any sport, really, without advertising, without showing it. They could do that. And then it got even more detailed when they did it with who was the guy that did second rollerball, the Magic Mike guy.
yeah.
All I know is they had Paul Heyman as one of the announcers, which was hilarious. But I was like, yeah, they could do that. They could do it pretty easy, and that kind of frightened me. Which I'm shutting this down, by the way. But okay, let's get away from that for a minute. Speaking of a manipulated sports event, an overhyped manipulated sports event, how in trouble are the freaking Olympics? How in trouble are they?
Who watches the Olympics at this point?
Excuse me.
I know it's also
billions with a B.
I know.
Billions
It's
of people.
They
It's
also
a worldwide event.
Billions of people watch soccer too, and I have the same
Yeah?
opinion as soccer.
So?
Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Don't make me curse.
Are you mad because you can't bobsled, or you're mad because you can't pole vault? Right?
No,
You want to pole vault, don't you?
Here's my Olympic argument. I've said this from the beginning. So many of these sports
He's
are
slow.
so specific to a task that unless you were doing it since the age of 4 and you live in a country where they don't, I don't know. I'm not going to go there. Okay.
Oh, what about skateboarding? Do you think skateboarding should be an Olympic event?
I'm not saying that these kids, these athletes, are not athletes or not talented. That's not my argument. Their goal of any sport is to get viewership, to get people involved, to actually participate or watch. I don't participate in 99.9% of the sports that are in the Olympics, and most of my friends or accomplices or whatever, acquaintances, family members, have never done in their lifetime. And you can go Ancestry.com 100 back, and none of my family members have ever thrown a disc or a javelin or...
What sports do you participate in?
Well, baseball, football, basketball, hockey.
Is baseball a summer Olympic sport?
Yeah, it was. Plus, you have the World Games. Listen, don't knock.
I'm messing with you.
All
I'm
right.
screwing with
Yeah.
you, but okay.
I haven't cursed yet. I got $2 ready, so I got
I'm screwing with you.
I got
Listen,
two F words coming.
That's not the point, though. Okay, because this Olympics seems to be desperately forced by the powers that be, because they know they lost a lot of revenue last year.
And it costs a lot to set these up.
Yep.
10 years they pick a spot for Olympics. So,
Yep.
And where's the Olympics playing right now?
Tokyo.
Okay, enough said.
Tokyo.
Yeah, they are like the little Asian with the big chip on their shoulder.
Right.
Because they're looking at the other 3-4 countries in that region and being so successful now and so powerful, China, other countries, that Japan's like, hey, what about me? What about Miami. We're going.
Well, Tokyo. Listen, Tokyo doesn't have a complex because Tokyo is the New York of Asia. Okay, they're the New York City of Asia. They are a financial center.
Yes,
they are an epicenter of culture.
Yeah, there are two cities
everything.
in Japan that are meccas. Yes, two.
Yeah.
So,
and what I'm saying is that due to the COVID-19 problem that Japan is having, that is one of the worst on the planet still, because they're having trouble with getting vaccinated, unvaccinated guy. They are now experiencing officials, people helping organize, and athletes are now all starting to test positive as they're coming in. They haven't even started the games yet, and people are testing positive left and right and left and right. They should have literally had everyone come in 3 weeks early, tested, quarantined, isolated, and then arrange the bubble. If they were that desperate to run this games,
I agree.
They should have done that, and they've done very little in that way.
I agree. When
And
you have
they're
such a
in trouble.
global event, people coming from all over
Bring
the
your
world,
COVID from around the world.
you have to bring them to a spot and then make that spot safe before
Yep.
you can reintroduce them into
Yep.
the rest of the world.
They should have called Adam Silver and his people.
yeah.
They got it right.
They did.
They really got it right.
All the American sports did it well. Baseball
Right.
too. Baseball.
Hockey did it well.
Yeah.
You know, they had one team that got a little sideways, but you know, they didn't make the playoffs. So they ended up playing games after the end of the season that didn't necessarily count, but you got to get the games in because, you know, people got paid for them.
Yeah.
So the Tokyo Olympics are in trouble.
Yeah, they're in trouble.
We are about to see a COVID disaster, I think. I really do. Yeah. You know, I hope that nobody dies, and I hope we learn, because as we're learning now, in America, even with our what are we up to, 53 or 56% vaccinated, fully vaccinated, and 68% with at least one vaccine, we're still having trouble. We're still having trouble, not only with the people who are unvaccinated, but we're having trouble with positive tests for people who are vaccinated, which I told y'all before, you can get vaccinated all you want. It's not going to stop you from testing positive. It's not going to it's going to keep you from dying. I'll say that. It strengthens your immune system to the point where you will not contract the horrible version of it.
Then why the other vaccines that we've gotten over the years, measles, mumps, rubella, all the ones they give your kids before they start school, why do you not catch those once you get the vaccine?
There were still contractions of those.
I didn't
but
hear
it ended the pandemic of those, okay? Let's all right, first of all, let's remember something as we get on a tangent here, okay? Polio, mumps, measles, all of those, okay? Those were they weren't even called pandemics, they were called epidemics. And, you know, there's levels to this, okay? So the sheer number of people that were infected and that contracted the disease and died from the diseases, okay, is much, much lower. It was a much easier to control group, okay? And you look at all of those, influenza, measles, the efficacy after years, not just 6-7 months like we did, years of tests and trials, the efficacy was still 60%, 65%. You still had people dying of measles. You still had people dying of these diseases. You still had people contracting them. But it was a lower mortality rate and a lower spread until they got the spread under control, okay, and virtually wiped it out. So people are, I think, the biggest problem, of course, is social media, and people are under the mistake. Caught you sneezing.
There we go. Great. Good timing.
It's okay. I'm coughing.
And you're coughing. That's
yeah,
great.
I'm coughing. Snot. We're all going to die.
But Rush just came out. He just threw up in the corner.
Right, yeah,
so we're good.
In the corner,
Yeah, we're good.
Farting, we're all done.
Yeah.
But the biggest problem is that social media is putting too many sideways ideas in people's heads, okay? And it's just simply a basic matter of, if you're not going to get vaccinated, you need to be a little more careful. You just do. And if you do get vaccinated, you still have to be a little careful until the number hits 0 or as close as possible. because this is I mean, look, it already had. We had the same problem with influenza back in the early 1900s. Okay, it was the Spanish flu, and then it turned into influenza A and influenza B. Okay, and we spent 25 years chasing that crap around before we finally got the 2 vaccines that slowed it down.
But you know what people don't talk about when you go back that far?
What?
Most living conditions
were horrible.
For most of Americans weren't good.
Crap.
Okay, they were still shitting in the street in most cities.
That's it. Get the jar.
All right, sorry.
Where's my dollar?
So again, when you're relating all these COVID deaths, people are relating all these COVID deaths now. And unfortunately, I want to mention a good friend of mine's father just passed away.
Right.
And it was from COVID. But again, in acknowledgement from my friend Andrew, his dad had other conditions too. So did COVID do it? Again, it's an awful situation for anybody who's had to deal with this. My point is that
our friend Gary,
100 years ago, again, how strong were people's immune systems? They can't be as strong as they were today. Fitness wasn't a priority. Clean drinking water, all these other things that we take for granted now weren't around back then.
Smoking was good for you back then.
So the flu may have killed you then.
Doctors recommended it.
You may have died from the flu 100 years ago, but was it really the flu that killed you? Maybe not. Maybe you had E. coli in your system because you were drinking bad water.
You were still smoking a pack of unfiltered cigarettes while you had the flu.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's so many factors that we weren't aware of that we are now.
Yeah, I understand.
So it's the same thing today, even though COVID's a super spreader and it's much more dangerous because, again, why?
Much more dangerous.
I think now we have a lot of sick people. We're back in the same boat we were then, okay? It's killing old people. It's killing sick people. So don't be old, don't be sick. What can you control? You can't.
Don't be old, don't be sick.
As
I look at the gray in my beard, don't be old, don't be sick. Well, I've already done both.
So the only thing you can't do is don't be sick. Okay, the old part you can't really change. That's who you are. So get yourself healthy at any age. If you want to get the vaccine, take the vaccine, especially if you're in the risk group.
Right.
And move on. We'll be done with this already.
Right.
Move on.
Right. So stop letting your Facebook group tell you otherwise, and stop thinking. And listen, for God's sake, stop thinking that Bill Gates or Joe Biden think that you are important enough to track you through some nefarious vaccine scheme. Okay, I'm sorry, Larry from GameStop. It's not true. I'm sorry. Nobody cares about Karen who runs the Ulta. Nobody cares that much. Get the vaccine. Okay, get vaccinated and get right and get out of the way. Stay out of the way and let's go on with life. Because I don't want to go back to wearing masks. And I'm definitely going to be very pissed off if I've got Miami Dolphins season tickets and I can't go to a goddamn game. Okay, there. You want some cursing? I'll curse. Okay, and I'm going to be pissed off at everybody who has been pissing and moaning and bitching that they don't want to get the vaccine for every other logical reason other than this. Okay, I had it. I have the antibodies, or I believe in my immune system. Okay. Now those are two foolhardy reasons, but you know what? They're legit. You want to take your risks? That's fine. But if you tell me anything else, any other reason, okay, any other reason, political or not, okay, a conspiracy theory or not, I'm going to look at you like you got a banana sticking out of your ear. Okay, I'm going to look at you like you have, like you're missing a tooth. I'm going to look at you like your knuckles are dragging the ground. Okay, so get your crap together. All right, wait, more soapbox? No.
You
okay.
Good?
Yeah, I'm okay. How about you? You okay?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got mine coming. So
yeah, you do. You do have yours coming. Oh no, we're gonna argue.
Yeah, we got.
All right, moving right along. Let's see. Let me check the rundown. See what else we got. We went over the Olympics.
We can talk about football. We got some football news.
We can talk about football, but wait. Though there's been a lot of drama in baseball, especially over the last 24 hours.
Oh, baseball too. Yeah.
Okay.
A couple guys got shot yesterday.
There was some sort of shooting outside of the National Stadium.
Wow.
And that was just bananas.
Name things that stop games. Well, let's see.
Shootings.
Shootings, one of them.
Yeah.
I was going to go with earthquakes.
Rain.
Earthquakes are one. These are natural disasters.
Really hard rain.
Yeah. What's next?
Lightning.
Yeah. It's insane what's going on now in these cities with all the violence. And I don't even. Again, you don't want to hear political reasons. I don't want to hear political reasons. There are political reasons, but hearing about them, talking about them, going over, it doesn't do anything. Change the behavior of the politicians that are running these cities, therefore will then change the behaviors of the citizens. So
another thing is that gun control, okay, for those of us who do own guns, okay, yes, there's a little bit of anxiety, and I fall on the reasonable gun control side, the regulation, registration, and all that. I fall on that side.
All about fairness.
it.
Yep.
Okay, it's responsible.
Yes.
Okay, you got to have a license to drive a car.
Yes.
Okay.
But don't tell me how many guns I can have or what kind of gun I can own or any of that stuff.
Well, who are you collecting 26 assault rifles for? Okay, are you taking on the government?
What if you just like guns?
You just like guns?
Again,
and hey, if you rub your junk on your guns, that's your
here's what you're doing.
As long as you close the shades.
When you establish what the mandates are, the first one, like you said, and I agree with, background checks.
Right.
Extensive. Run them through the mill. Make sure the guy or woman is good. And then at that point, if you pass their protocols, government protocols, leave me alone.
Sure.
If I want one, if I want 100. It doesn't change the protocol. It doesn't change what you didn't find about me that you tried to find. It doesn't change whatever fears that you may or may not have, because that's your fears, not mine. If I want to own guns or cars or books or whatever it is, just because the object that you own has a stigma, it's the person responsible for that item that's the concern. You're not testing the gun. There's no protocols on the weapon. It's on the person.
Well, the regulation is going to be, they're going to use the term reasonable amount, okay? And at a certain level, at a reasonable amount, then you have to either be a commercial arms dealer, okay, a commercial arms dealer, or you have to be a private citizen collector. Either way.
Why?
Either way, because
if you're crazy and you have 30 guns, how many guns will you use to kill someone? All 30? Are you going to have them on your shoulders? I mean, it's ridiculous.
Sure. That's the point. That's the point.
So then,
that's the point.
If anything, you can choose which gun you want to use because you have so many.
Stockpiling weapons is illegal.
No, it's not.
Ask David Koresh. Oh no, you can't.
That's different. Okay, but if I own. Okay, I'll be honest with you. Would you call me obsessive? I own 11, 12 different firearms. Okay. Am I on a list?
You just became if you weren't on one before, you are now.
Can I fly still? I mean, except for Spirit.
People are gonna want to take you aside for a random search now.
But what? Okay, and you know me. Most people do.
I know.
It's just insane. It's insane. Now I'm not saying
I own 4 different firearms.
I'm not saying that there are some people that own 100 different firearms are crazy.
Let me ask you a question. For each firearm that you own, do they each have a specific purpose?
Yeah, to kill. To
kill?
To maim or
kill?
Kill, yes.
To maim or kill to defend yourself?
Or for sport. Those are the two options. If you like going to the range, you like clay shooting.
Not self-defense or sport?
All those.
Okay.
Whatever applies to you. I don't typically, I go to the range maybe once a year.
You don't hunt?
I'm not a hunter because I don't like to kill animals like that. Even
You're not a vigilante. You don't wander the streets trying to kill criminals.
Not at all. But I'm never not without a firearm because I never want to be in a position. I never want to be in a position where I cannot defend myself against the other person who has that firearm, perhaps even illegally.
Right.
I did my part. I went through your protocols. I went through your evaluation process. I'm probably even marked to some degree because I have all these weapons, and that's fine.
If you own 27 assault rifles, they're going to know.
That's fine. But again, I would have nothing to hide owning 27 assault rifles because I would say, come into my home, look at my display, look at my record. Never been arrested. It's the person that should be the issue, not the number of weapons, not how much ammo you have, not any
Mr.
of that stuff.
Masaracchio, you got a little smudge on the gun here. It looks, is that
a print?
Penis?
Run a print.
Is that a penis?
Yeah, it's a penis mark. So anyway, and to be honest with you, I may get more guns in my lifetime.
But what's that got to do with 2 nutbags firing guns at each other outside of a baseball game?
Nothing at all. That's just society right now. It's just crazy. People are crazy. People are
could
angry.
Have been road rage.
What is the story?
Could have been gang related. Could have been an attempted crime.
It could have had nothing to do with the stadium and the game itself, and I'm sure it did. But regardless of that, you can't put fans in situations where they're going to a public event and they are potentially in danger. So what has to happen, and if you admit this or not, and I'll use our workplace as an example, I think we're one of the few establishments in our arena of stuff that don't do a better job protecting not only the workers that are there, but the patrons within the establishment. And what I mean by that is a simple thing, a wand. Do you know, when I work the door, I'm always checking pockets. I can't physically check, but I'm looking. And I'm always seeing a this, a that. I'm not sure what that is. Guys now are wearing these bags, these man purses that you can put anything in. Half the customers come in with backpacks and all. We have to be in a position now, whether we realize it or not, that we have to do a better job at the initial step of protection. If you're saying gun laws, background checks, all this other stuff, that's step one. There should be a step 1A. 1A should be, okay, now we've done our best here. The next step is to, okay, what about businesses and stuff? How do we protect not only, again, the employees and the patrons? We offer a system to do that, to check for weapons. You can't bring your weapon into my home unless I allow you to. Nothing wrong with that. That's fair. It's my business.
You're going to put a magnetometer at your front door?
Just a wand. Any sort of metal detector that you can go ahead and put.
Yeah, just a two-panel, one side and the other, walk through it.
Deniability and putting your head in the sand is what that is. It's like, oh, I don't want to show that it could be a potential problem. The potential problem is there already. And there's nothing that you don't validate.
Because those people outside the stadium didn't walk through a magnetometer.
No, they didn't have to.
Every sports game that you go to, you're walking through a metal detector.
And getting frisked, perhaps.
Yeah.
And doing
kind of like that part,
screening.
actually. You know, I like somebody touched my butt.
Shocker.
But, you know.
But the thing is
what?
that...
It's not weird.
If you turn around, it is. There has to be a better way, an inexpensive way to get these people safe, keep them safe, safeguard your surroundings around the areas, and that's going to have to be a decision made by the leagues.
All the guns.
Yeah, because crazier things are happening now. Buildings are collapsing. People are getting shot in stadiums.
People are throwing baseballs at players out of the stands.
Listen,
those bleacher bum nutbags in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Okay, I listen. I understand. Yes, this is my way of segueing away from gun control, because you could sit here on your soapbox all day with that.
Yes, you can.
And on the Gonzo Radio show, I've done a gun control thing. I've shown everybody my 45. I've shown everybody my gun on air. So it's nonetheless, I understand the rivalry between the Red Sox and the Yankees is long-standing, is red hot, no matter how good or bad either team is. Okay, but the behavior that we have seen out of sports fans and people on planes and people here and people there. Yeah. Okay, since things have opened back up.
Yeah, even athletes are getting themselves in trouble.
Just going nuts. Richard Sherman lost his mind. But you do not throw a baseball at an outfielder. I don't care.
Unless it's an Astro.
That's
okay.
Oh, are we going to do the Astros now?
No. I just want to say, I know you're going well here. I'm just saying you could throw. Listen, people, go to an Astro game, hit an Astro. That's all I'm saying. So.
All right. You want to do the Astros now? You want to do the let's do the Astros now.
You know the Astros are 20 games.
They have the best record in the major leagues.
Yeah.
You don't look happy about it.
Makes me nauseous. I don't understand how. Cheaters never prospect. What happened to that theory?
I've been trolling you this whole show. It's been poked the MAZZ all show.
I'm only kidding about throwing baseballs at the Astros.
I know.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Yeah, you should throw two baseballs. In case you're missing with the first one, you get him with the second one. No, listen.
Chicago White Sox fans threw a blow up trash can on the field at them the other day.
That's funny.
That's funny stuff.
And that won't hurt anybody, so that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Listen. There's no way to explain it in the sense that, listen, the Astros were always very talented. That was never a question.
What happens if they win the World Series again?
They won't. This karma. Karma's real. Karma's real. And what's happening now, I think, or at least I'm hoping.
How do you explain Ty Cobb winning World Series then?
He was a mean mofo, Ty Cobb. I got a Ty Cobb story for you when we're done. So Astros are 21 games over 500. They're playing great ball. They got shut out yesterday against Giolito and the White Sox.
Right.
But listen, they've always been a good baseball team. The Astros are good. Their lineup is solid. Losing Springer, I thought, would affect them a little bit more, but it hasn't. Now, Springer's been hurt for a good part of the year, so maybe it wouldn't have mattered, but still, whatever.
There's a reason why they let Springer go, because they had guys in the farm system that they could bring up.
They've got a good, long lineup. They've got pitching. They're playing really well. They're really good at home.
And you hate it.
And I don't like it, but again, I'm not jumping off the I hate the Astros train just because they're winning games, because I still think karma bites them in the ass for a long time to come. And I think when it's all said and done, we'll be able to look back and go, you see, I told you were going to get that. And again, I don't know what that is yet because it hasn't happened.
Seeing lots of wins.
It's going to happen eventually. I think
seeing lots of wins.
They got some karma coming their way because they didn't listen. They got lucky last year with the bubble.
Yeah,
we talked about it. They didn't catch it. And they thought maybe, at least they hope people would forget, because usually people have very short memories.
Right.
But in this case, this guy don't have a short memory and will never will.
Forgetting a damn thing.
I'll remember this for the rest of my life. And I'm hoping other people do. Accountability is important today in society, and we don't have any of it.
Okay,
so,
Ty Cobb.
Here's my Ty Cobb story.
Nasty, racist.
Go look this
didn't
up.
like kids or dogs.
There was a baseball game. He was obviously playing in it, and he was being heckled consistently from a particular patron in the stands.
Right.
He had enough. Okay, he went over and confronted the guy, beat the hell out of him. Unfortunately, the guy had no hands. So he beat up a guy with no hands, okay, wheelchair-bound guy, no hands. They said that, hey, Ty, this is after the game, the interview. Now, Ty was going to kill this guy. He almost did. They pull him off, they calm him down after the game, they do the interview. Ty, what happened? He tells his story. He goes, did you know the guy had no hands? And this is Ty's quote. Ty says, he goes, yeah, I know the guy had no hands. And if he had no legs too, I still would have beep, 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 blip, all the. So he was a bad mofo. And he didn't care about anything. That was just the game the way it was played. It was a different era. So go look that story up. That's a true story. Ty Cobb whooping a guy's ass with no hands.
I've heard the legend.
Yeah,
I've heard the legend.
That's Ty Cobb. So one of the greatest baseball players of all time.
And he won like 3 World Series.
Yeah, and he was a mean man. So big,
not
strong
very
guy too.
nice.
Yeah, so that's my Ty Cobb story.
That's your Ty Cobb story. Okay, well then let's go ahead and jump a segue quick to the NFL, because we can talk for an hour and a half about the NFL coming up. And I really have to shave this beard because it's catching in my microphone now. Oh my God. It's that cold weather, man. That 3 days of cold weather, and all of a sudden my beard just went, grow really fast.
It's a natural
response.
response.
Yeah, it's a natural
response. Your
response.
face warm. Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked like crazy.
Yeah, I can see that.
Look at this thing.
It's big.
Huge.
I want to get mine.
It's unbelievable. And yeah, I'm going to shave mine down to about your length right there. Yeah. But anyway,
okay.
On to the National Football League. When's Aaron Rodgers showing up?
Oh, he'll show up, but he ain't going to be happy about it. And I don't think he's going to give max effort this year. I just don't see it.
Could make a lot of business decisions.
I think he's already made them. Not opting
out is a business decision.
That's one. But I think ultimately he just knew best case is that to stay in Green Bay this year, to do his part like he's done. He's always been the good soldier. I mean, a little bit testy, a little bit emotional, a little bit this and that, whatever. Everybody's different. But you can't say that he hasn't provided for the Green Bay Packers, that he hasn't done his part.
He's done his bit.
Okay, so that being said, he shows up, he plays, they win, okay, because that division sucks, and they're all in transition, so Green Bay should have no problem winning. But what happens halfway through the year? They lose a game or two. The writing's on the wall. Of course, by that point, we'll be closer to a better, maybe definitive answer of where he may or may not be going. So it's going to start to pick up, okay, the momentum. And if there's any sort of trepidation, if the Packers stumble at all, how is he not going to be looking ahead to the next stop? Okay, it's human nature. You get a job promotion and you know you're leaving where you were, and especially if where you are, you're not happy, if there's contentment and there's dissension, other things going on, you're looking out there. You're not looking where you are now. And as a quarterback in the NFL, how do you be productive and at the highest level if your focus is not on your task?
Well, I agree with that, but I think what we're seeing is, and this is something that was brought up a couple of months ago by, I want to say Sal Palantonio. There was a pundit that gave the idea or gave the concept that Aaron Rodgers could return happy, smiling, okay, sort of like a divorce scenario. a planned divorce scenario. I mean, we all know people get divorces and it's just like, F you, and I want half of your crap. And
but they're staying together for the kids, essentially.
Staying together for the kids.
I get that.
One more year.
That's my argument, too.
They're waiting until junior graduates high school. Okay? They're staying together one more year. They are going to give a brave face for the marriage. Dad is going to dad. Mom is going to mom. We're going to smile and Christmas.
But what's the reality of the performance? Dad's not the normal
24 hours after Junior gets his diploma, there's a U-Haul in the driveway, and Dad is the F out of there.
But that doesn't happen in the last 24 hours.
Right.
That happens in the last 6 months.
Right.
Because once in your mind you've decided you're moving on,
right.
Dad starts looking at the waitress at the restaurant, Mom starts looking at the accountant, her accountant, and your focus starts to go in 100 different directions, which is not on task at hand. That's not good for the Packers.
I think there's going to be an agreement, a handshake agreement.
Sure.
I think that Ted Thompson gets in a room with Guterkunst.
Oh,
Brian. I still say that's a
Brian.
I still say that's a dirty word in like Czechoslovakian.
It sounds German. It's like a bad. It's like bad sauerkraut. Did you have the Guterkunst? You're like, oh, it's terrible. It's gross. Spit it out.
Guterkunst had me on the toilet all night. Oh, horrible. Jesus. Anyway,
German vomit.
They're going to get in a room. They're going to have a handshake agreement. Maximum effort this year. Let's go and try to win one more Super Bowl. Next year, we're going to accommodate you, and we are going to trade you. We are going to give you your choice of trade destinations, and then we are going to try to work with these people to get the proper package for you.
Okay, well, two problems with that. One, that sort of dialogue has never happened in Green Bay because who does Aaron go to? Does he go to Brian? Because
Ted Thompson.
Ted Thompson? Okay, but that hasn't happened to this point. And I'll throw out the other more important factor in this. It's called human nature, which is what I tried to explain. It doesn't matter what you put out for everybody else to see,
right?
But instead what's really going on inside.
Right.
And again, everything I said, it's to me, that's the road they're on. You cannot be in the moment if your over there is much better and much well-deserved than where you are now.
Well, there's nowhere for him to go right now. There's nowhere for him to go. There really is. There's not Denver.
He's going to Denver next year.
Okay, but listen.
Which means his mind is already in Denver this year. Well, that's my argument.
Let's extrapolate to Denver, okay? We all know Vic Fangio is not going to be there at the end of this season. He'll be lucky if he makes it through the season. The minute they get to their 6th or 7th loss,
that team's going to struggle again
because they have a new general manager
and a bad quarterback. Still,
that new general manager did not hire Vic Fangio. Okay, even though Vic Fangio is an outstanding defensive coordinator, Vic is just not a head coach. Period. He's not a head coach. Sorry, Vic. Much respect. Great DC. Great guy. Players coach. You are not a head coach that is going to hoist a Lombardi. Okay, so this new general manager is going to go get a new head coach. Period. The new head coach is probably going to be very, very accommodating and very, very acceptable to one Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Then you are going to see the trade, and the trade is going to come multiple first-round draft choices, whomever they keep as the starting quarterback, whether it be Drew Lock or Teddy Bridgewater. Boom, ship them. Maybe multiple players to avoid having to give up multiple first-rounders. But they're going to ship them. They're going to ship them right out to Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers is going to start with his new coach in a new situation with a lot of really good skill players on offense and a good offensive line. And then Denver is going to go from being a middle-of-the-pack, contender to a contender.
Green Bay should have already done this.
But they didn't.
And I'll say it again.
And they're not because they want to save face.
Their division right now, the way the teams are, Chicago new quarterback, the Lions new quarterback, everybody is starting from the beginning in that division again. Okay, some new coaches in certain teams. Green Bay wins the division this year regardless. I think even if Jordan Love's the quarterback.
Yeah.
And in that sense alone, why would you not, when the writing's on the wall, go with the guy you drafted? You drafted a first-round quarterback when you had a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, where is Jordan Love?
And I think the kid's capable.
Maybe he is or not.
He's very capable.
But why would you not put him at the starting gate with everyone else as opposed to bringing him?
He could be Patrick Mahomes again. He could be another Patrick Mahomes.
Green Bay is in a disaster, and they have made their bed, and they have to lay in it. It doesn't matter at this point to me what happens. They're not going to go this year. Listen, it's boom or bust. They're a team.
They're going to do the organized divorce. I'm telling you right now.
It's already happened. That's what I'm saying. It's a waste of a year for Green Bay. So last year I wasn't on Team Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers played phenomenal. I don't see the same results this year. I just don't. When it's all said and done, I think they're maybe a 10-win team, and I think even if they make the playoffs or not, they're on the road. It's not going to be a Green Bay year, and I think later in the year you're going to start to hear where is Aaron going again. It's the same story we've heard for the last year and a half.
Listen, since we've already done it, since we've already jumped into it, let me go ahead and roll the theme for MAZZ Hysteria. Yeah, I know you like that song. It's snazzy. It's snappy. It's got a good beat. But welcome to MAZZ Hysteria. Well, since we've already knocked out Aaron Rodgers going to Denver,
yes,
and since that's been kind of part of our NFL segment, let's go to the other NFL part of MAZZ Hysteria.
Yes,
which is actually supposed to be number one. Is Tom Brady a cheater? Is he? I mean, everybody seems to immediately go, yes.
Okay. Is bastard a curse word?
Go ahead.
That bastard. What do they do?
Son of a bitch.
You know what sucks about this? For the fact that if you're on Team Brady and your argument in life when this is all said and done is he's one of the greatest ever. What you have now in sports in all sports is just a bunch of asterisks, okay? And this is just another asterisk for Brady, okay? You know all the stuff about Deflategate and about all the injuries. That was going back in New England, too, about reporting injuries. And now it's here again in Tampa. Somebody's backing up, I think.
That's...
Is that a fire alarm?
Sounds like somebody's fire alarm.
Oh.
Condo living.
Yeah. So anyway, assuming we don't burn down, if you see smoke, we're just going to run.
At least it's not the building alarm.
Can I make the lake from here if I jump on a full sprint, or I'm going to hit the grass?
We're 4 floors up.
I know, but the lake is. I won't get there. Okay.
No, that's like 20 feet.
Gotcha. Okay. So the newest, we've all heard it. Basically, is the injury reporting things, MCL tear, whatever it is. This whole NFL policy about injuries and stuff like that, they've been doing that since day one. Not everybody discloses their injuries. And they do so why? Because you're trying to protect your assets. You don't promote weakness, do you? No, you promote strength. So whether the NFL has to take a better handle on this, take it more seriously, or they're just looking for Tom Brady, which has been an argument for some.
Gamblers.
There's a lot of things going on here. So bottom line is, if there is a rule, follow the rule. Okay? It's not difficult. Everybody plays by the same. That's the intent of a rule, is for everyone, not just the select few. And it just seems like that he's always been on the side of, I use the term narcissist, I use the term entitlement, I use the term whatever you want to use. They are going to pay for this, okay? When they had the Deflategate in New England, he lost 4 games. The team lost some picks and some money. And it's probably going to be the same thing here.
All right, listen, that was a makeup call, okay? That was a makeup call because...
Oh, for the video problem?
For the video problem. It was.
Okay. Well,
it was. It was a makeup call.
Okay.
Okay, a lifelong Miami Dolphins fan, somebody who has hated Tom Brady from the jump. I saw his first start in Miami, okay? Did not like him, okay? He comes from a gangster atmosphere, okay? Let's face it, the Patriot way is a little bit gangster, all right? It really is. He and Belichick and Kraft and all their executives and all their assistant coaches all through the years have developed this culture, okay? You look at the Patriots. The Patriots don't tell you anything different. There's no update for their injury reports. There's none.
No.
You know, the only update you get from an injury report is the exact minute I think it's 11:30 before a 1 o'clock game. At 11:31, you will get either same condition or better, but you will never see an You'll never see an escalation. You'll never see an increase or a worsening. You'll never see a negative report other than what they bare bones have to give you, what anybody else can prove. Okay? So they're gangster like that.
I agree.
And I think Brady was part of the
mentality of this is how we do things. Listen,
and he brought it.
That's fine.
Okay.
Then put that asterisk next to your name because that's what it is. It's an asterisk of, well,
asterisks
they won.
belong all over sports.
Well, okay, and they're showing up more and more these days. And the reason is because, again, the entitlement factors, the narcissism, the other factors that make people think that they're above the law. One of the greatest movies of my generation.
If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah, I guess so. Go Yogi. So anyway, that's number one. F. Brady.
Number 3.
Yeah. Oh, we skipped 2.
No, number 1 was Darren.
Okay,
Aaron.
gotcha.
Yeah, Aaron
Gotcha.
to Denver.
Gotcha.
Number 3. Is anyone watching golf?
Where?
I mean, seriously, is anybody watching golf?
Who plays golf anymore? Where's Tiger? Anyway, that's the only thing that matters anymore, it seems.
Well, people are focusing on the DeChambeau
Brooks
Koepka.
Koepka. Little rivalry there.
The rivalry,
Yeah.
the saltiness, the bitchiness, if you will, between the two of them, which is hilarious.
That should be a pay-per-view. Now, that would be the one pay-per-view I'd watch. Promote the sport of golfing through fighting. Okay, that's works in hockey. Everybody's excited about the enforcer. Yeah, give them each a 7-iron and let them go have a good time.
Look at the size of DeChambeau. He would kill Brooks Koepka.
Koepka's a big kid, too.
Oh, then turn him loose.
7 irons for both.
7 irons.
Yeah, let them swing away.
Nah, use 3 woods.
Interesting.
They make nice clunk sounds.
They do. They do.
You know, it's
Anyway, pay-per-view golf fighting. That's what I'm all about.
you're nuts.
All right. No, so yes, nobody's watching golf. Nobody cares about golf. There's a few people that watch it on a Sunday, and they probably have money on it. So, and that's all. Next.
Okay.
Next. Sorry, golf.
Where in the world is Deshaun Watson?
Who? How many girls were we up to? 23, 24?
24. There was a pizza delivery guy who said he got felt up.
Yeah. Here's the thing about that. I think the silence is not good for Deshaun Watson. And the reason being is because you don't go from all of this to nothing. It doesn't work normally. Now, if one girl had come out, 2, 3, maybe, I guess, maybe you can dismiss certain things about the characters and stuff like that. And maybe for a majority of these girls, you can do the same. But
where's the indictments?
Well, again, those take time.
Where's the charges pressed?
And those take time.
But if you have evidence.
But there's a lot of it. And that's the part that gets me. Is, again, listen, if it's 1, 2 girls, I get it. You can fight that. You can say one was this, one was that. Again, whatever the case may be. But when you have such a large number of girls saying the same things, the silence to me worries me because to me that tells me that they're building, and or waiting for the right time. And how do you hurt an athlete, I guess, in an organization or a team or whatever the case may be, is to wait until you have everything in hand. And then a week before the season starts, hey, guess what? Here's your indictment. And then the Houstons are done. They've been done anyway, but not only the worst franchise probably in football in the last 10, 15 years, but they're done. They're off the map.
Blame the McNairs.
Yeah, they're off the map. So to me, silence is, what is it, silent but deadly?
Well,
I'm using that here too.
I'm kind of going with the other camp. First of all, don't get it twisted. I'm not victim blaming
I got it, yeah.
or victim shaming, okay? But I see the sheer numbers as evidentiary of a little bit of collusion. Were there incidences? Yes. Yes, there were incidences. Was there sexual contact and conduct? Yes. Yes, there was. I'm certain of it. My experience in being someone who has gotten lots of massages, therapeutic massages, okay, I have had 20 different massage therapists, 2 male, 18 female, okay? I know for a fact on 3 different occasions, 3 different female massage therapists have propositioned me, okay? They put it out there, okay? All 3 times it was a complete shock because every massage I've ever gotten has been for therapeutic purposes. And it hasn't been just 20 massages. I've gotten 1,000 massages, okay? But I tend to, when I find a good massage therapist, I stick with them. Even the 2 guys that I worked with, they were great massage therapists. And I mean, I kind of feel bad for these people because when you're massaging me, it's like you're massaging a Yeti, but that's fine. You're a professional. You're doing your work. You're massaging an animal.
The Yeti's real, by the way.
The Yeti is real.
Yeah,
yes.
we'll talk about that coming up.
He got on his UFO. But seeing the similarity of the stories, I believe that some stuff went on. I think that a lot more of it was consensual, especially the multiple instances for individuals. Okay, out of that 23, you've got a lot of one shot, and I'm never taking his booking again. You got probably about 10 or 12 of those girls. He pulled his shenanigans, and just like, nah, you got a lot of walkouts.
Sure.
You know, you want me to what? No, listen, I got to go.
Well, here's the thing I think with sexual type stuff. It's very pattern based.
Right.
So it's very similar. You're not going to just all of a sudden want this and then want this and then change this. No.
Right. He's not innocent.
You have a desire or a fetish or a need or whatever sexual desire, and you work towards that desire. You look to go get that filled.
Right.
So whatever behavior he did, if it's a bad behavior, if it's unacceptable, then he did it with all the women. He didn't just do it with half of them. He didn't just do it with 2 of them and then kind of try with the rest. He did something with as many as the women that have come out and said that he did it with. I believe that, and that's a problem.
Well, yes, that is a problem.
That's a
predatory behavior.
That's a problem.
Now, I mean, there's a lot of extenuating circumstances here. First of all, out of the 23, I'm not even gonna venture the number, but not all of them are innocent. Okay, they may not have any provable culpability on their part,
right?
But not all of them are innocent.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
It's not. I don't believe it. I don't believe it by half. I believe there's probably about 5 or 6 true victims there.
Okay, that's enough for me.
Okay, that's enough for anybody.
Yeah, that's enough for me.
But in this instance, I think the silence speaks to checks being cut. Checks are being cut. Okay, I think that we have gotten to the point where the Houston DA does not have enough evidence. Let's remember, even just one incident, one charge, one grand jury, that's enough to indict and start a trial. Okay, one, and it doesn't take this long. It doesn't.
His lawyers know that if there isn't enough evidence, like you said, or at least enough to get it to stick, then the people that are putting these allegations forth, their lawyers are telling them, it's iffy, it's 50-50, it's even 60-40. Do you want to get a check? Because
they only have one lawyer. They only have one lawyer.
Okay, but again, the group, I'm sure it's just not one. It's probably a group of lawyers, whatever it is. But I'm saying whoever represents these victims are probably going to the victims collectively and saying, listen, it's 50-50 at best. Let's assume it's 50-50 at best. Then the decision comes to, do we go after him civilly? Which, of course, they will, because he could do that and quiet it. But remember this, if it's not, what if it's 80-20 in terms of, then they can do what? They can go for both. They can go after him criminally, and then once he's convicted criminally, they go after him civilly.
That's the worst case scenario for him.
And that could be, and that takes time.
But once again, there's 3 principles in this, okay? There's the victim side, the Deshaun Watson side, and the legal side. Okay, and what I'm saying is that the Houston DA, the legal side, the one who's supposed to act impartially on evidence, they don't have the evidence. They don't have enough evidence. They don't have enough evidence to bring charges before a grand jury. Okay, and if they do, they're holding on to it for an awful long time. Okay, I mean, even with 23 victims, the collection of that evidence
takes a long time. It's only been a few months.
I understand.
It's only been a few months since the story came out.
Look at Bill Cosby, speaking of what, that POS got out of jail while we were away.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so we would have had something to say about that.
But at least Felicia Rassad's happy. So
yeah,
she's good to go.
Him and them.
Bitch.
The rich people.
Your husband's not even a good wide receiver.
Exactly.
Bastard. So, how about that?
And I got better seats at a basketball game than him one time.
Yeah.
So, my point is that the legal process doesn't take that long, especially with a celebrity, a celebrity criminal or a celebrity, the accused is a celebrity. Okay, it's just not. It doesn't take that long, which tells me that there is a lack of a preponderance of evidence. B, there's some contradiction in the accusations. Okay, so there's a lot of murk because the government won't come out unless they know that they can and say anything in the press unless they know they can bury you.
Indictment rates are about 96%. Once the government has you, they have you.
Where's the charges?
But again, I will say it simply: too many women, too many similarities, too much entitlement.
Cosby took 5 weeks
once he was in court. But the indictment process, I'm sure, took a lot longer.
The grand jury, after the charges were levied, the grand jury saw and indicted his ass in less than 5 weeks.
Okay.
And then his trial took 3 weeks.
They know Deshaun is going to have the best representation.
Even gotten to the grand jury yet. Wait. So what are you saying that Bill Cosby had the guy from My Cousin Vinny?
No, I'm just saying.
Ladies and
here's the difference,
of the jury
is that I think maybe Bill Cosby's a little bit more high profile than Deshaun Watson is. Clearly,
I think Deshaun Watson's got more money than Bill Cosby, though.
I don't think
he got a lot of money.
Bill Cosby's almost a billionaire.
Okay, well, still, Deshaun Watson's got a lot of money.
Anyway,
he's got a good lawyer.
Listen, 25 girls, whatever the number is, I'm sticking to it. He's in trouble. They're in trouble. The government doesn't lose with these types of things, and if there's evidence that is against him, they'll find it and they will persecute him to the fullest.
They're cutting checks.
So, they're
cutting checks.
Then what that does too is that just admits the same guilt. Because if I'm innocent of anything and you're accusing me of something, I am screaming to the top of my lungs my innocence.
I'm telling you,
that hasn't happened.
I'm telling you, they're cutting checks. He's going to take his 6-game suspension or his 1 year suspension. And then he will be back playing in 2022.
They don't suspend Brady for 4 games for not reporting an MCL injury that he doesn't even have to report as the team, and suspend Deshaun Watson for Deshaun Watson will never play in the NFL again. That's my opinion.
Ray Rice.
Never play in the NFL again.
Ray Rice stuff.
As soon as the indictment goes down. Now, again, he may play this year, unfortunately or fortunately, because, again, everything's not in place yet. But
he's not playing this year.
It's over then. He'll never play.
He's not playing this year.
Yeah. They're talking about him reporting to camp.
Houston's already went and got Tyrod Taylor.
He's done.
And they drafted the kid out of Stanford, and they've already got guys.
And you know what? Guess what city he plays in Houston? F the Astros. So that's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, so
F the Astros too.
F Houston.
Oh, let's get on with it. Just F the entire city of Houston.
And it floods a lot.
Come on, what did the Rockets ever do to you?
Elijah won.
What about the Cougars? Well, you don't like the Houston Cougars either?
Actually, that was Dikembe.
All right. Let's see if we can get you to calm down.
No.
Settle down.
Sorry.
All right. Who wins the National League East?
Mets are in trouble.
Mets
have, I think, a 6-game lead.
Francisco Lindor
just went down, oblique strain.
Jacob deGrom,
another injury in the forearm, the arm. That's a problem.
What do we have? We had Thor is back, but he's not back yet.
No. Regardless, that division sucks. Those teams in there are inconsistent. I know I've been chasing the Phillies my whole life. They win a game, they lose a game. They're a 500 club. That's who they are. The Marlins are not ready. The Braves, they're starting to hit the ball a little bit, so they'll probably be in the mix. But
I hate the Braves.
But if the Mets don't get this under control, or at least don't let them affect them to the point where they're losing their stars, to me, it's the Nationals. I think the Nationals are in a spot now. Again, the Marlins, as bad as they are like 8 games out. So
not if people keep getting shot outside of their stadiums.
Well, that's different.
America's pastime interrupted by a baseball game.
I think the Nationals are, with their experience and recent success, coaching, they've got great talent on the offensive side. I think they have one of the best hitters in baseball that people do talk about.
Soto.
Oh, my God, he's good.
He's a monster.
Trey Turner, they got a really good squad.
Trey's a monster, too.
To me, Nationals at this point, I think they're sitting third in the division, is going to be the team that's going to come
3 games under 500.
And win that this year. So,
all right. First of all, you just brushed over the Miami Marlins. I don't disagree. It's a very good chance that Washington could pull off the NL East pennant. No problem. I still think the Mets are going to hold on and win it. It's too much talent there. It's too much time to recover from these injuries. They still have the lead.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
you got to
the
catch
Braves
them.
aren't that great. They had to go out and get Jock Peterson to spruce up the batting order because they lost Acuna. Which, as much as I love to hate the kid, I never want to see anybody get hurt, especially an excellent baseball player.
That's a big injury for them. Acuna is, again, another one of the top 4 or 5 guys. Yeah.
You played hog. Hope you come back. It's okay, kid. Good on you.
Sucks.
I'm sorry to see you get hurt. He is a plate hog, though. The reason why he keeps getting hits is because we're not going to give him the plate. But the Florida Marlins, I have to say, in this iteration of the Florida Marlins, they have themselves set up to make moves next year. We finally see some direction. It took selling the team and putting Derek Jeter in charge to clean house and get us going in the right direction. And I am encouraged by the direction. Michelle Ng is a fantastic executive. Look what she did with the bullpen. She did nothing but concentrate on bullpen.
No, pitching has been not the issue. Yeah. And again, even though they've had a lot of injuries on that side, Sixto's not coming back.
No.
And he's one of their young stars.
That's okay. We can save him for next year.
Yeah. So you're right in the
Pablo
sense
just
to
came
that.
up hurt. He has some sort of rotator cuff problem. So
And
I would shut him down.
And Sandy's been a little off and on this year. He hasn't been as dominant, but he's been good.
He's
but he'll be
Sandy
fine. Yeah. The kid's nasty.
And Trevor Rogers is going to be the National League Rookie of the Year.
Listen, pitching is not the problem with the Marlins.
Is he going to win 17 games?
They just don't have the sticks. They need to go out and get some sticks.
Evidently.
Yeah.
I understand that. Yeah. And
they need 1 or 2 bats to extend that lineup. Because the guys they have now, like Marte and Dickerson and Aguilar, those are good players.
Yeah.
But they become better players.
They're OBS guys.
In a lineup that is got a little more power.
Sure.
A little more pop.
Sure.
That lengthens that lineup a little bit more. You don't force guys into certain positions in the lineup because now you can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jesus Aguilar is not a cleanup hitter.
He's not. No. But he's a guy that's got prodigious power, and he's a 250 hitter. But most guys in the National League are 250 hitters.
But who's counting?
Now, okay. So he's a guy that deserves to be in a lineup, but that's a guy that you put in front of a guy that can mash.
And Adam Duvall, he's a number 5 guy.
Aguilar, again, back to him, is a guy that if you hit 5 or 6 or 3, for instance, probably a better 3 hitter. But again, those guys get better when you have better sticks behind them.
Right.
And that's a case right now where if he's hitting 270, he's got power. Okay, maybe he hits 290 if he's got a decent stick.
Let me tell you what that leadoff combination, Jazz Chisholm and Sterling Marte.
They're good.
1-2.
They're really good.
That's instant offense.
Yeah, they're really good.
That's instant offense.
But if you give them a good 4-5, those guys get even better.
Good 3-4.
Yeah, so.
A good 3-4.
Yeah.
You can score 3 runs a game just with those 4 at bats.
Yeah. So pitching, they're fine and they're in a good spot, but they do need to build the offense.
And it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. I'm okay. It's like we were saying, Duvall and Aguilar. There you go. There's your 5-6 guy. There's your 5 and 6 guys. They round out. If you get a good 3-4 guy, a 3 guy and a 4 guy, then they round out after the 3 and 4 guy. The offense doesn't drop off.
Yeah. No.
There's no prodigious drop.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's right there, the heart of the batting order. You have to get some big sticks. And I think that they will be able to acquire one big stick. Okay, they'll be able to acquire one, either through free agency, a mid-level free agent, somebody who can rake at around 300, 300 with 35, 40 home runs, 120 RBI guy, 35, 120 guy.
Not a lot of those guys, though.
Not a lot of them.
They got to work to get him.
But they could do it.
They need a bat or 2.
If there's anybody that they would spend money on, it's somebody. Because Brinson is now, he's becoming injury prone. And he's had all the potential in the world, but as he starts showing the potential this year, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
So we can't rely on that guy.
Yeah, he's not a power guy.
Okay, anyway. We can't rely on him. There's guys we can't rely on. And right now, what they have to fix is they have to fix the 3-4. They have to fix the catcher position. Okay, because their best catcher is Sandy Leon.
I kind of like Jorge Alfaro a little bit. He's got a little power.
Leon calls a better game.
100%.
But you and I can hit better than he can.
Right, and they can combine the two. They'd be in a good shape.
I could call Russ out of his room and have him hit better than Sandy Leon.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So that's the 3 things they got to fix. Everything else is good.
No, their pitching is really strong.
Everything else
Listen,
is good.
There's a reason why they say pitching and defense wins championships.
Right.
So they're 2/3 of the way there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm encouraged. I'm very encouraged. All right. So let's see. Well, we have one more.
I think so.
One
It's a big
more.
one too. It's a big one.
It's a big one.
But we're going to try and fight this quickly.
Speaking of why, what are you getting phone calls?
No. I'm just saying we're at like 12:20. We're just kicking it today.
It's like your wife's texting you. Are you done yet?
No, I'm fine. We're fine.
Don't worry, Deanna. We'll have him out of here soon.
Maybe.
All right.
This could take a
The
while.
Black National Anthem.
Sitting, kneeling. I'm kneeling for it.
I have to say, although the NFL is trying very hard to be sympathetic and woke, and most sports leagues are trying hard to be sympathetic and woke, but now they have gone to the point of publicly stating that they are going to play the Black National Anthem, which is a long time coming, I think is the name of the Black National Anthem.
I don't know.
And I have to say it's a little bit of overkill. Why not just play it? Why do a public announcement about it? Why make a thing about it? But
These sorts of decisions, I've said it before, make people choose sides. It forces people to choose sides. And it shouldn't be that way. I'm not choosing a side necessarily in terms of my denouncement of the Black National Anthem. It's not. I would be just as upset, I think.
you're going to take a knee.
If they decided to play, let's say, I don't know.
The Cuban National Anthem?
Again, you could pick any. Are we going to be forced to carry
play the Lithuanian National Anthem.
Are we carrying pride flags into the stadium too? I mean, what movement are we going to focus on today?
Well, wait, the Pride National Anthem is something
It's in Miami anyway, so
with lots of
All
pianos.
right, but if you get enough people, which is maybe 3 or 4 complaining about it, they'll probably do it.
You better
So,
work.
When are we going to stop with this? When are we going to stop? You use the word woke. I know it's popular now.
Wokey woke.
I think it's more panic instead of woke. I think it's panic because if you don't choose a side, then you're labeled as something. Like, for instance, I made the joke, and I know you're not serious, but I'm kneeling for the Black National Anthem. I mean, granted, but does it make me a racist? Maybe.
But you're just trying tit for tat is what you're doing.
Maybe. Again, there's a lot of reasons why, but whatever the reasons are, they're my reasons, and if they're not affecting or hurting anybody, then I'm entitled to those beliefs.
But the stigma is going to be that you're a racist.
That's your stigma. That's not my stigma. That's a you problem, not a me problem.
Oh.
You can look at every particular item in my life, and
No, I know.
It's silly.
I know you're not a racist.
No, I'm not saying you're saying me. I'm just
I
saying
know
in general.
you're not a
But
racist.
Joe Blow,
I know
and
I'm not a
wherever.
racist.
The bottom line is we need to just stop.
But it in a tit for tat situation, it seems a little racist adjacent. I understand if for satirical comedic value, but and this is something that I discussed. I was actually discussing this with my cousin the other day, and she's about my age. She's like 7 or 8 months older than me, and she has a transgender son, and he's a great kid. Shout out to Jay, who's getting married soon. I'm going to be helping them out with their wedding. But and she and I both grew up as kids in Opelika, okay, with black people and Hispanics of all shapes and sizes. And we both long for the day that it just won't matter. We don't think it's going to happen in our lifetime, but it gets closer every day. Because like I said, she grew up in the same southern Florida, and when I say southern Florida, I don't mean geographically. There were still rednecks. There were still people flying Confederate flags from their truck.
Everybody that lived in Florida then was from Florida.
Right, was from Florida.
Yeah, there wasn't any transients.
Marielitos came around. Now I got to go to Sedano's supermarket and I got to read Spanish.
Yeah. Staten Island didn't discover Florida yet, so but we did eventually.
So they all ran up to North Carolina. That's the reason why you get up to North Carolina and you see all the people. I used to live in Miami, but we lived it. We assimilated with it. We tolerated it being racism. And one thing that we have discovered is that by generation, the ratios go down. Okay, let's face facts. The greatest generation, the people who rolled up their sleeves and won World War II, and they fought the Nazis, and they fought imperialists, and they fought fascists, and they did all of that, and they were still racists. They found out in World War II that black people can be relied upon. Black people are a lot smarter than they were given credit for. Black people, I mean, before the 40s, there was still Jim Crow.
The thing is,
okay,
but you're focusing on just on black. It's not
right,
just black.
I understand that.
It's every other minority group that's
but
not.
Still, the base of this was the Black National Anthem. Yeah. Okay, so what we're hoping for is, as the generations go on. Now, the greatest generation gave way to the boomers. Okay, we all know your mom and dad, my mom and dad, even though they may say, I'm not racist, they were still the generation that would be most likely to walk across the street and clutch their purse. If they saw a black guy on one side of the street, they would walk across the street. Okay, or be a little suspicious of a person of color.
You'll always have that still,
that's good. But
yeah.
Let's say that was a 50-50 generation. Mm-hmm. Now we get to Generation X, you and me, and people that are 10 years younger than us. That's more of a 60-40 generation. Okay, we are a whole lot less racist than the generation before us.
Yeah,
we just are.
I agree with that.
Okay,
yeah.
And then your kids, not necessarily my kids, on purpose. So we're looking at millennials. We know the millennials. I mean, you're maybe going to find 10% of millennials have a racist bone in their body, and generally those millennials all live in Wisconsin, but or Idaho.
What's happening is that they're in an environment where the hardline racists are still along that same ideology.
Right, and they're concentrating.
And that will never, you'll always have 10% of every group.
And their numbers are getting smaller by the generation.
But you'll always have a group of people who will be bad.
Right.
Will be racist,
but it is
will be this, will be
becoming
that.
socially unacceptable. Okay, it has become more socially unacceptable as time goes on. So once we get to the Generation Z's children, that generation, then we're going to see a very, very minimalized racism, and that is it's already attacked the institutional racism. It's already called it out and dragged it out into the street.
Go back to the incident now. Okay, they start playing the Black National Anthem, they call it. You're at a game. Does that person who is in original opposition to, let's say they were a kneeler, for a lack of a better term,
right.
They kneeled during the regular national anthem,
right.
Everything that our country was founded on, the flag, whatever.
Generally a millennial athlete.
Now, does that person then go from a knee to a stand when they play the Black National Anthem, or whichever one goes first? Are they looking at the flag during the Black National Anthem? Are they looking in a different direction in defiance? I mean, where are we at with all this? Like, what's
right? And that's kind of what I'm saying is that these are the growing pains when it comes to those when it comes to those particulars. When it comes to nitpicking that, first of all, I would object to the Black National Anthem being played after the national anthem, the American national anthem.
I agree with that too.
I would object to that.
I agree with that too.
Okay, you want to make a point, you want to make a statement, okay, God bless America, definitely not after the Black National Anthem, or after the regular national anthem. That is our national anthem. Show a little respect. Okay? But the details, the devil is in the details. And the details are going to become blurrier. And they have to become blurrier. Okay? We have gotten to the point now where the millennials and Generation Z, which there are a lot of adults in Generation Z, so they are empowered to vote, they are empowered to act, they are empowered to protest, okay? They are empowered to vote with their dollars, okay? They are empowered to make their impact on society. So as generations progress, we are going to see how it is made socially unacceptable, and the institutionalization of racism, which it's been embedded in our country and culture for a long time, has been dragged out into the light. It just has. By video cameras, by people speaking up, by social disobedience, it has been dragged into the light. And it has been forced to change itself.
But unfortunately,
and when that change comes, A change is going to come.
But unfortunately,
when that change comes, then we're going to see less problems.
When it was dragged into the light, it was a huge blanket thrown over everybody.
Okay.
And if you don't fit in line with what just got brought to light, then you
Okay.
are a racist, or you are this, or you are that.
And then you
done with it all.
And then
It's bullshit. All of
gonna,
it.
And then you're going to have to come out and say stuff like we're saying here, which is it's not true that people who are hit with this blanket, that get caught in this blanket of
Right.
of
Or what you intend them to be, because they're not.
Right.
Not everybody is a racist.
Okay, speak up for yourself then.
But I shouldn't have to. That's my point.
Tough titties.
What happens at the game when one person, doesn't have to be a black athlete, because white athletes also kneel. Because not just
your
black
shoe
athletes.
is on your shoe is on my side of the floor.
If anybody's athlete,
He's like all leaning into this shit. He's like,
if any athlete stands for one and kneels for another, they're a racist. Bottom line, it's one America. That's what we're trying to get here.
we're trying to get there.
Okay, but
it's not that true. It's not that black and white.
All right,
Pardon the pun.
Well, then this isn't the right approach, because again, it creates division. It creates people to have to be forced.
Well, guess what? The division has to happen to eliminate the division. Okay, I'm sorry. We have been on top for so long, and that's how you get institutionalized racism.
Who's we been on top?
Who's
we?
white people
Have been on top.
monkeys, have been on top.
Been on top of what?
Listen, white people have been so on top, we actually discriminate against other white people.
Whites.
Okay.
First of all, the blacks represent what? 13, 14%?
17%.
17%. So
Look
I
at
would
you,
think
you're already trying to minimize their impact on
this
society.
isn't a
My
black
God.
and white thing, just a number thing. Then maybe the whites should be on top in terms of just numbers, opportunities, other things.
Yes, mathematically.
It doesn't make it better.
Right. Yes.
I'm not saying it's better or
and
worse.
rationally and mathematically, yes. It
Yeah.
only.
There are going to be
shows-
more white businesses.
Right.
There are going to be more
Yep.
white people in power.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
Because there's more friggin' white people.
Right.
It's a numbers thing.
Sure.
Okay. Me saying that, if I say that right now, people will take me as a racist.
Well, I'm waiting for somebody to bang on our door here. I mean, I know we only have about 14 people that watch
But
this.
think about that. I'm a racist if I say the truth. And the truth is, if there's more of X than there is Y, then X is the dominant. It doesn't
Right,
mean it's better. It just
right.
means there's more.
But all we want is for X to stop crapping all over Y.
But listen, Y craps on X too. X craps on Y, Y craps on X,
But
Z
by
craps
your
on...
rationale, by your
Everybody
rationale,
craps on everybody.
By your rationale, okay, strictly by ratios, okay, shouldn't the impact of Y crapping on X be a little less harmful?
It has to be percentage based. If 5% of the white population is racist and 5% of the black population is racist, guess what? You're going to have a whole hell of a lot more white racists than you will black.
Right.
Why?
Right.
Not because they're more racist, not because they're less or more of
I
anything.
think they are more racist.
There's just more of them. Okay? It's a numbers game.
We're trying to eliminate all hate.
You can't. You can't.
You can.
You can't do it.
You can.
So in
Sort them out.
response for not
They
being
can
able
go
to
live in the woods.
in response for not being able to fix a problem, you introduce another problem. You introduce more division. You introduce more solutions that will again force people to
guns.
take sides. Done with it. Go to the next question.
There is no next question.
I got one more question. But the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I got you. Oh, here we go.
We're not done.
Here we
It's
go.
a 2-hour show today, but I'm ready.
Pittsburgh guy
All right.
is trying to tell me
My argument was this.
that the Tampa Bay Lightning
Yes.
are the best
In discussion,
Florida
sports franchise
sports franchise
in the last 35, 40 years.
40 years.
Since the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes, to me, are one because of their not only performance on the field, but the cultural
Racist.
influence,
Oh, no, that's not
everything
racist.
they had. The Tampa Bay Lightning, first of all, they're a hockey team. Okay, you know how we feel about hockey. Small markets, all the things you fight about and argue about, market size and whatever.
It's a Canadian.
They're
type
in
of
the
a
South,
sport.
and they've won 3 championships since their inception in the last 30 years. 3 of those championships have come in the last 14 or 15 years. My argument is this. If the Lightning win again, 1 or 2 more championships next 4, 5, 6 years, they are in the discussion. Okay, they are in the discussion for the best sports franchise in the state of Florida over the period of time. It doesn't discredit the Heat. Heat are in the discussion too. They got a few championships. The Marlins certainly have a few too. But the method, the approach, And the way that the Lightning have done it in a sport where, again, they face the same challenges, if not more, than any other sport. They're demographically challenged. Hockey's not a southern sport per se, but yet a little small franchise team that spends no money wins championships and dominates their sport. To me, that's a champion. That's a team that when you look at dynasties, when you look back on dynasties, and you look back at the Patriots, you look back at the Lakers, the Celtics, all that stuff, what do? They take a period of time in their sport and they dominate. And that's what Tampa's doing. And if they continue to do so, which I think they will over the next couple of years, that little small S-hole stadium out in Tampa that hosts hockey and baseball and whatever else they do out there, to me, they're in the discussion. They're above the Dolphins. They're above the Heat. They're above, obviously, the Marlins as well. Now, those teams obviously have championships, and they're part of Florida folklore for greatness, but they're not the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're not what the Tampa Bay Lightning have done. Fight me. Your turn. Go Tampa.
You could not be wronger.
They're Bolts. The Bolts.
Yeah, because you're wearing that stupid blue shirt. Is that why? It's because of the blue?
Is it blue?
Yeah, it's their colors.
Okay.
Yes. All right. First of all,
yeah,
they don't even tie for third. Okay. All right. Where do I begin? University of Miami.
Number one.
Oh,
were we good on that?
Overall.
Okay. Next.
Okay. Just by sheer appearances and championships.
Everything.
Championships acquired.
They had an E60 show about them. So,
okay.
It's
now, let's just go
legit.
from 1980 forward. So, we're looking at the last 40-plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because before 1980, the University of Miami was abysmal.
Yeah.
Okay? All of their sports programs were abysmal.
That's because you had all them rednecks playing.
Okay, I guess. Because they were a private college, and they were hoity-toity.
They were a dental school.
Yeah.
And a veterinary school.
And a veterinarian school.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, Howard Schnellenberger comes to Miami and changes the game. Now, since 1980, we're going to go University of Miami Hurricanes. We're going to go
The Heat.
Miami Heat. 3 championships, 5 appearances. 6 appearances. Okay? Championships and appearances. Then we're going to go Miami Dolphins. Okay, but now we got to go back to 1970.
Yeah, that's too far. And it's not my discussion. And they don't have a championship, so I'm out with them.
Okay.
Next, move on.
Okay, well,
I'm not saying popularity.
You know what? I'm gonna take the Miami Dolphins back.
This isn't a popularity contest.
Take the Dolphins back
because Dolphins are probably the most popular out of all those.
Yeah.
But it's not a popularity contest.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins back.
Otherwise, the Knicks would win because a lot of people like the Knicks too.
I'm gonna take the Dolphins back.
No.
And as much as it pains me to say this, it pains me, physically pains me. The Florida State University Seminoles,
Blah.
FSU. Then you get the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Putting them ahead of the Marlins?
Yes.
Not ahead of the Heat.
No.
And not ahead of the Seminoles.
Listen, it pains me not to put the Heat number one.
I can't do it.
By sheer virtue of the numbers of national championships that the Hurricanes have participated in and won. They have to be number one. Okay? That's not even counting the baseball national championships, the NCAA World Series championships that they've won, or the track and field championships.
No, I know. It's we're talking about a particular
the swimming and diving championships.
Right. Well, there's a lot out there. I get all that. FAU's got a pretty good lacrosse team too, but whatever. My point is that when you talk about overall franchise, and if you compare them against their sports, the conditions, the way they have to be successful.
Buccaneers, two Super Bowls.
They were so bad for so
long.
They're not in the discussion at all. They get a quarterback and a tight end and a few. No, forget it. Listen.
The University of Florida, the UF Gators.
Spurrier had a run.
Spurrier and Meyer had runs.
But they're not in the discussion.
Okay.
Tampa Bay wins another championship or two, and they cement the 2 spot for me. Okay, they cement
the 2
it.
spot.
Cement it. Hurricanes won. Lightning win a championship.
Okay, now you're making sense.
They win a
When you
championship or
came
two.
in here, you were all like, "That's it. They're the Lightning are the best franchise in the
said
state
they're
of Florida."
in the argument as the best.
No.
And I'm arguing that very well. They are, right now, I think, tied for third. Is fair. But again, little asshole team in hockey that is thousands of miles away
I think it's safe to say shithole.
from 15 teams that have hockey cultures established
And
in
by
the
way,
league.
Tampa is no shithole. I love you, Tampa. Have no fear. We're not downing Tampa.
All
Tampa's
of
a
the
great
history
place.
and success. You got 4 Canadian teams that dominate.
They are
for periods of
Tampa
times.
Bay now, dude.
It's there. Listen,
They have 2 American League championships.
they're in the discussion.
In the last 10 years, just look. I mean,
Yeah.
3 NHL championships, 2 American League championships, 2 appearances in World Series,
Yeah.
3 division pennants, 4 division pennants.
They're in the mix too. The Rays are there too. Yeah.
And the Buccaneers have won 1 Super Bowl, and they won. What was it, 2002? They won another Super Bowl.
With
was it?
Chucky?
Yeah, I think it was 02 or 03. I
Warren
forget.
Sapp. 02.
Yes. So there's no doubt about it that Tampa Bay is Champa Bay.
Yeah. 100%.
But you're crazy if you think that they're anything more than maybe tied for third.
All right.
So there. All right. Wow. I was going to say, let's stretch and go 2 hours. No,
You probably could.
no. I'm getting hungry. I want lunch. I just had breakfast. Yeah, well, that's it, man. I think that's we've run out of stuff to yiggity yak about.
We caught up over
We've
the last
touched
few
on
weeks.
3 weeks worth.
Yeah, we hit it all.
And I think we've solved racism and gun control and who's the best franchise in
Yeah.
the state of Florida.
Yeah, and Aaron's going to Denver and all that
Aaron's
stuff.
going to Denver.
Yeah, and Deshaun
Tom Brady's
Watson's a
still
criminal.
Deshaun Watson. He's not a criminal
He's
yet.
a criminal.
Yet.
He's a criminal.
Yet.
Yeah.
He's no Bill Cosby. I'll give him that.
Brady's a cheater and F the Astros.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody you want to say goodbye to? Any shout outs?
Yeah, my wife, who I'm sure is watching.
Who's very patiently waiting for you to get done doing your
Yes.
silly sports show.
Yes, and my daughter, who never watches, but still my daughter. I love her very much. So,
Right.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by 2 amazing ladies, and that's what makes my life go round.
I'd like a girlfriend like that.
Yes.
Well, on behalf of myself and the MAZZ and the 2 amazing ladies that he's hanging around with, and I don't think Rochelle is still hanging around watching the show because we did a lot of jibber jabbering, and she's the kind of person that yells at her phone when she sees something that she doesn't like.
Maybe she's vacuuming, doing chores while she's watching.
No,
she's not vacuuming or doing chores. Okay.
That's not her style.
Cool.
Well, then, on behalf of myself and the MAZZ, thank you very, very much for watching. Make sure you check us out on all social media platforms. Just type in, search Gonzo Radio, and boom, follow, like, subscribe, whatever it is you want to do. Whatever social media platform you look for us on. Of course, also look for us here on YouTube if you're not already watching us on YouTube, or the Gonzo Radio Network, www.gonzoradionetwork.com. You can also catch the MAZZ because he's got his own fancy little Twitter handle, Instagram handle, because he doesn't like Twitter, at MLBJoyUs. And that's on the Instagrams. And either that or you can type in Matthew Massaracchio, but I'm not going to tell you how to spell his name.
A couple of vowels there.
A couple of vowels, a lot of vowels, and some T's and some W's.
There's a lot in there.
Yeah, it's very Italian. But I'm Big Daddy Gonzo, and we will see you again next week. Hopefully, right? We're going to see you next week, right?
be here, yeah. God
It's like
willing.
it's the day before you take your test, too,
God
isn't it?
willing. Yes,
Oh, yeah.
we'll be here.
All right. We'll see you guys next week here, 11 a.m. on the Gonzo Radio Network. Hey, you might want to put the ender on there, right? Yeah.
Peace.